Or option number two, she can date this guy since she's sufficiently trained him to be a little puppy lapdog. My little beta male. Oh, yes. You can take little Instagram pictures with me. We can look so cute on our Christmas cards. And you'll just sponsor my lifestyle and buy everything for me. And I'll withhold intimacy from you because you showed to me that that's all that matters to you, not me contributing to building your kingdom. And you'll just buy everything for me. Oh, you're so cute. Get back in my little purse that you bought me. So she's trained him. That's her second option. So it's a win-win situation either way for her. She can do whatever she wants to this guy in whatever way to benefit her and her lifestyle. What's up and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're gonna be talking about how women turn you or mold you slowly but surely in sneaky ways into their lapdog, and so their little bitch, so they can just put in their little purse, shop around with, and you spend all the money on her and you simp and you supplicate to her. How do women do this to you, and how do they slowly but surely transform you into a sucker? So we're going to talk about all the deep dark secrets and the ways that she manipulates you from start of the relationship, from when you first meet her all the way to the end when you become a total fool and a sucker. So no further ado, let's dive into today's video. Remember guys, no one else on YouTube is doing breakdowns like this. If you want to support content like this, drop a like right now, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications so you don't miss any uploads, and share this content. We need this video to get out to more and more young guys out there that are struggling. All of this is from my personal experience, things that I've had to work through in order to give you guys this information. Let's save other brothers out there the trouble of going through this pain and having to learn the hard way, and share this information with them so they get this. So before we begin, I need to give a warning to all of you. It's kind of a funny warning, but it's also a serious warning for real, okay? There's gonna be harsh reality checks and strong language in this video. I mean, the title itself speaks for itself. How a woman turns you that's watching, how she does this into a B word, okay? So this video is meant for real men only. It's not meant for guys that are still struggling to step into their manhood, step into their masculinity. They're still living at home. But if you're working on becoming a man, you're still living at home, this video, you can still watch it. But it's about authentic manhood, what it means, stepping into that, and burying deep down inside those feminine-like emotions that you might have while watching this and feeling all, I'm sensitive, like I don't like his tone of voice, oh, he's making me feel like I'm not achieving much in life. We don't have time for that in this video, okay? So if that's you, click off right now and don't watch any more of this, because this is for real, authentic men only. So before we dive into this video, we have to understand the definition of what manipulation means. And manipulation, according to the dictionary, is pressuring others, sometimes in sneaky ways, to get what you want. The person doing the manipulating is called the manipulator. They seek to be in control. They're usually very good at reading emotions, because they're very in tune with emotions, which is naturally something that women are much more powerful at doing, because they're more emotionally based creatures, as we've talked about many times on this channel. So it's harder for men to pick up on these things. Now, a gay guy, a gay man, he's able to also read emotions very well and very easily, because he also has that feminine nature about himself. But they're usually very good at reading emotions, and they use that skill to pick up on the weaknesses of others. Maybe that's you watching this, if you've had someone that's emotionally manipulated you in the past, and slowly but surely transform you into maybe a walking wallet where you spend all the money wherever you go out with a woman, or just a foodie call where she only wants to hang out with you. If you're buying her things, you're buying her the nicest meals and all of that, taking her on expensive trips. Maybe you've dealt with a woman that's very good at reading emotions, and she's picked up on your weakness over time, and she's used that to take advantage of you. So these manipulators, this is a part of life as you get older. This is something that I've had to understand. They're everywhere. Most people in the world, if not all of them, because it's a survival instinct, are out to get theirs. They're out to get their own. They're out because they're trying to survive. Okay, so most people, if you don't understand this, you came from a good family, a good background, maybe a religious upbringing where this wasn't the case for you. This might be very brand new to you, where you're having to have a wake-up call right now and understand that, wow, like there are people in the world, and this is what I had to come to the realization of, that are actually out to just get their own in this life, and they'll do whatever it takes, even if that means pinpointing your weaknesses and figuring out what they are through asking you questions, and we'll get into what those are, in order to manipulate you, target those weaknesses and emotions that you feel, and then pinpoint certain things in your behavior and get you to do different things to slowly but surely mold you and transform you into who they need you to be for their benefit and their gain. So let's look at evolution briefly. Since we just talked about this is an innate evolutionary process or behavior that humans have had to develop over time. It comes from our ancient programming. Men usually were the hunters, or they were the hunters back in prehistoric times, while women were the gatherers, and they stayed back at the villages while men did the hunting and went out. So therefore, these are two separate polarities of nature. The men being programmed to be more physical, while the women, on the other hand, since they stayed back and nurtured their tribe and the village, they became more dominant in sub-communication and communication skills, less developed physically since they didn't need to go out and hunt and develop a physical prowess about themselves. So, like we just talked about, men developed superior muscles for hunting prey, while, on the other hand, women developed superior communication skills for maintaining the tribes back at the village. Women, being weaker physically, also learned to manipulate men through their words. So, how does this correspond to modern times? We just talked about the prehistoric programming and why this is. This is something that comes naturally to women, and it's not even anything we can necessarily blame them for, because we're programmed a certain way as well to be logical and rational and be less developed and in tune with our emotions. So how does this correspond to modern times and with her turning, or a woman turning you into her lapdog? Well, women to this day, they still have superior emotional manipulation skills compared to the average man. The average guy, honestly, he walks around life, and in his dating life as well, through like a clouded daze. He doesn't understand what women are doing, what women are saying. He doesn't understand why women don't text him back. He bases all of what he should do in a relationship off of the TV shows he watches, the movies that he's seen, or the friends that he's around, which are most likely also simps. This was at least the case for me. And where on the other hand, women, they're always talking to each other. Women are constantly on the phone. If you ever lived with women, they're constantly chatting about something. And if they're not talking to someone, they're around dialogue. They're watching TV shows where there's a lot of talking, there's a lot of drama, and there's a lot of communication within there. So they're constantly feeding the communication skills portion of their brain, whereas men, we just tend to be more logical and rational, more like numbers minded, and less focused on communication skills. So therefore, we have a less developed communication center of our brain. And that still applies to this day, like we just talked about. So let's look at some of the ways that women can slowly turn a man into her lapdog. So how does she turn the strong guy over here on the left into a weak, discouraged, and effeminate lapdog on the right-hand side over time? Well, she doesn't do this. Women are much wiser than we think. They're much smarter and more conniving than we actually are led to believe as men. She's going to do this from small compliance tests, okay? She's not going to give you a huge compliance test where it totally blows her cover, and it proves to you, it shows you, exposes what she's doing and the way she's trying to manipulate you. No, it's gonna be like how sort of you train a dog or a young puppy. If you've ever had a puppy, you train the puppy slowly through rewarding it, and that's the same way that she's going to treat you and turn you into her little lapdog. Okay, it's going to be a small test here and there, and we're going to talk about what those tests are. Phase 1. So when she first meets a man, she might tell him, this can be the first thing she ever even tells this guy, is buy me a drink. Okay, so why does she do this, and what does this mean? So she has two options that will determine the rest of their social dynamics based on his response. Let's say option number 1, this guy complies and he follows her lead and he buys her the drink. So he made a huge mistake right there, and he immediately puts himself subconsciously in both of their minds, in her mind and in his, as the woman having more value than him, and pedestalizing herself above himself. Don't ever let a woman make demands of you on the first interaction with you, or just in general, but especially the first few times that you meet a woman or you're interacting with her. If you comply with her test and she makes you jump through her hoops, that's going to be how the relationship is through and through. How you start in the relationship is always going to be how you end in the relationship. So let's look at option number 2, which is the better option. This is what guy number 1 should have done. He rejects her lead, and then he flips the script in a playful way. So he's not all like, oh God, is that a test? Like, no, you buy your own drink. I'm not gonna buy you a drink. I know this test. I've seen it on YMDRP's channel. You're trying to get me to comply to you. No. Guys, you gotta stop doing this, okay? Way too illogical, irrational minded. You gotta flip it in a playful, fun way where you still assert your dominance over her. And you gotta do this because it subconsciously displays that you have high value and you have confidence, and she'll see this. So option number 2 is the right response in the way you should go about it. But for the sake of this video, we're gonna say he fails this test, and therefore another small compliance test is definitely going to be issued, because now, and then it might even end after that interaction, she might just take the free drink. But let's just say the interaction continues and she throws another compliance test to him because maybe she is looking for a husband, maybe she is looking for a sucker, maybe she's looking for a sponsor, someone to sponsor and pay for her lifestyle. So you already jumped through the first hoop of buying her a drink. So now the test continues if she wants to bring a male sponsor into her life. So the next test will look something like this. Later on in the evening, let's say they're still at the same venue, across the room, maybe she breaks up and they split up for a second. She's coming from the bathroom, she runs into some friends, you're still at the bar or at a different table. She signals him, the guy that she's talking to or talked to earlier, to come over to her. She goes, come here, or tries to get him to come over to her. He fails this test again. It's so small, guys. These tests are just so small and just subtle. If you're not, these have all happened to me, so that's why I understand the game that women play to get you to conform and mold and jump through their hoops and fall in line with their programming. So let's just say he fails this test again and he walks over to her. Done this and doesn't end well. So once again, you're displaying that you're following her lead when you do this. When you leave your realm to enter her realm, that shows that you're a sucker and you're easily able to be manipulated. So then she feels comfortable issuing another small test. At this point, she already understands what type of guy she's dealing with, unfortunately. You've displayed to her that you are moldable. You are husband material because she can use you as a provider. She can use you as whatever she wants. She can use you as a cuck eventually because you don't stand up for yourself, and she can make you do whatever she desires because you have no backbone. You're just a flimsy little, you're like the car a balloon guy outside of the car dealership just flailing through the wind. You have no spine. You're a spineless little dweeb. So then she feels comfortable after this, issuing another small test. These are some examples of what these might be. Bring me A, and then fill in the blank. Get you to do something else again for her, to conform. You should shave your beard, or you should do this or that. Get you to change your physical appearance. She tries to make you jump through that hoop. Or, have you thought about switching hairstyles, or cutting your hair, or doing X, Y, and Z to your clothes? Or text me first, getting you to reach out to her first, putting her in the position of the one that's in control of the relationship. So following the phases of how she turns you into her lapdog, let's just say she decides, okay, he's already bought me a drink. He's already moved and walked over to me when I've signaled to him to come here. I've already told him, hey, you should get a haircut, and he's starting to justify why he has his haircut, or why he's wearing that shirt, why he's wearing the jacket that he wore to the venue. And you know what? I'm almost 30 years old. My eggs are almost dried up. I need a man, and I need a man that I can mold. And he's checking off the provider boxes that I need him to do. So I'm actually going to get in a relationship with him. So let's say now she cranks up the heat. They're in a relationship, and this is a few weeks in their relationship now. What does she do? So while sitting on the couch, this woman puts her feet on this simp's lap. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if a woman ever did this in my house to me, I'm putting her feet right off me and I'm telling her to get out right then and there. That's too disrespectful. Or I'm at least putting her feet down and I'm giving her a solid warning. But the fact that she felt even comfortable doing something like that just shows that her lack of respect for you as a man. If any of you guys have ever dealt with a woman that put her feet up on your windshield in your car, or up on your dashboard, disrespected you, put her feet on your lap, she views you as beneath her. That's what it's signaling to your subconscious mind, and that's how she views you. Whether she's conscious of her doing this, she actually feels this way, that's how she views you in her mind. She wouldn't do this around a guy that she truly was passionate about, that she craved, that she wanted to keep around and not step over, okay? Because she's signaling that she's stepping over you, that she's above you by doing this. Or, this is another similar test. She intentionally breaks a boundary you've set. So this could look like you tell her to take her shoes off when she walks inside your house, but she walks in still with her shoes on after you've told her multiple times not to do this. You didn't check it the first time, even though you told her. She didn't respect that boundary, and she manipulated you with giving you some intimacy or whatever, and then that proves to her that you're a weak man that can be manipulated through intimacy, and you'll compromise your values as a man just to get some sex. So she loses respect for you in that way. It could be multiple different boundaries, whatever boundaries you have, and she intentionally breaks them. You don't check her on those things, those tests will continue. But still being enamored with her and her beauty and her punani, like we talked about, and this guy folds yet again, and now she knows she's got him. She's a sucker. She's found herself hook, line, and sinker, a simp, a provider, whoever she wants to make him. She can mold him into whatever kind of guy she wants. She'll get bored of him. She's already bored of him because he doesn't have a backbone. He doesn't give her that emotional roller coaster. But she's got a sucker that she can use for whatever she wants. At least she's got someone that can sponsor her lifestyle. And this is what most guys end up doing. So the next time they go out, this is what happens after. This is phase number, 4 or 5 now. She has him pick her up, open the car for her, bring her flowers, then take her to a fancy restaurant, and then pay for the entire meal. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a gentleman, But when you've let a woman that's disrespected you by putting her feet on your lap, by asking you, what do you do for a living, and filtering you out through a series of sucker tests to see if you'll be her sponsor, and then you go through all these extra hoops to be a gentleman, like bringing her flowers, taking her on to a fancy restaurant, and then paying for the entire meal, when she hasn't contributed at all to building your kingdom as a man, you're essentially signaling, once again, that she's of higher value, of greater value than you are. And during dinner with a guy that's a sucker like this, that does all these things just for the opportunity to be with her and sleep with her when she hasn't contributed at all to what he's working on, during the dinner, she's gonna complain about nonsense. She's gonna go on her phone occasionally. She's gonna thank him with a kiss on the cheek at the end of the night. She's gonna do all these extra little things here and there because now she doesn't even care if he leaves or if he stays. All she knows is she's got a sucker on her hands that she can use for whatever purpose she so chooses. And at this point, now she has two options. Number one, the first option is she can keep this chump around as a foodie call or a male groupie. The nice guy. The sponsor, like I've talked about. Or option number two, she can date this guy since she's sufficiently trained him to be a little puppy lapdog. My little beta male. Oh, yes. You can take little Instagram pictures with me. We can look so cute on our Christmas cards. And you'll just sponsor my lifestyle and buy everything for me. And I'll withhold intimacy from you because you showed to me that that's all that matters to you, not me contributing to building your kingdom. And you'll just buy everything for me. Oh, you're so cute. Get back in my little purse that you bought me. So she's trained him. That's her second option. So it's a win-win situation either way for her. She can do whatever she wants to this guy in whatever way to benefit her and her lifestyle. So let's just say she does decide to date this guy. We're getting close to the final phase, gentlemen. Those of you that have ever been transformed into a female dog, you understand we're approaching the end here. Like I said, I'm speaking from personal experience. This has all happened to me so I can teach you what to look out for and not make the same mistakes I've made. So going into the relationship, now she's going to keep a back door open for all the bad boys to hit it right. Because let's just be honest, guys. A guy that's allowing this kind of disrespect, he's not sexually confident. He's not going to get in bed and talk nasty to her. He's not going to hit it right. So he's the sponsor, the little puppy in the purse. While she's done with the puppy in the purse, she puts the puppy in the purse away at home. She goes out and about to get what's right, which is deep, long strokes from the bad boy across the street. Because she needs both experiences in her life. And this little puppy dog doesn't question anything. He just sits there like a good little boy. So why wouldn't she want the best of both worlds, right? Why? Who can blame her? Think about it, guys. Would you not do the same if you had the ability to do so? Why wouldn't you keep a little sponsor puppy dog male that can buy and take you around the world and to fancy dinners and all of these things and buy you whatever you want and support you and be there for you to cry with and be emotional tampon with? And you could also at the same time have the bad boy, the exciting guy that gives you emotional roller coasters, that blows your back out in the backseat of his car, that, you know, he's never available, but then when he is available, it's just like mind-blowing orgasms. It's just like the best. Oh my God. And she can just ping pong back and forth between the two of these guys, you know, until either one finds out about each other or the bad boy just moves on to do that to some other woman and her little lapdog. And it just continues and continues. This is why we can't necessarily blame these women that do this. They're getting the best of both worlds. And it's you suckers out there, not you that's watching this, but the suckers that are out there that fall for this and ruin it for the rest of mankind. Because they don't understand the game that's being played with them. So the nice guy or the chump, he's spoiling her with gifts and attention, while, like we just talked about, the bad boy is satisfying her sexual fantasy and her needs. And like I always talk about on this channel, you'd be blown away by the number of women who do this, guys. It's a lot of women. I won't say it's all, because it isn't, but it's a larger majority than most of us guys would like to admit, that do keep the bad boy on speed dial while they have their little puppy dog, nice guy in the purse at home. Anyways, let's just say, like we talked about, she gets into a relationship and further programming happens. Now, what I'm going to talk about here and list is going to happen in a very quick matter of steps. I think it's like 6 steps, and it's going to seem like very quick, but I can assure you that it's usually much slower than this in a relationship, how this happens. But once again, it still happens, and most guys don't see this coming. And this is usually the order that the slowly transforming of your mind as a and her little puppy dog happens. Number 1, she openly texts other guys right in front of you. This has happened to me multiple times with women like this, where I let them text guys in front of me. They were just friends, or just another cousin, or just that guy from work or whatever. But it felt off to me, but I still let it happen. I'm sure you can relate to this maybe. Number 2, if you let this happen, she openly flirts with other guys and in front of you. So while you're out and about, she gives guys the look. Or she starts to talk to random guys. Or she even brings up a guy's attractiveness around you, which is also disrespectful. Number 3, she humiliates you in public. So you let these first 2 pass. Now it's going to be public humiliation, where she basically belittles you in front of your family members or your friends. She tries to get a reaction from you. She disrespects you. Number 4, she gets you to do everything for her. I forgot to put do there, but she gets you to do everything for her. So you are becoming what her role is supposed to be, and you're going to begin cooking, cleaning, bringing her things, trying to win her love, and trying to supplicate for her and pedestalizing her above you and the role that she needs to be playing in the relationship. If she wants to keep you, she gets you to flip the script and begin to pedestalize and worship her. And number 5, now she's so disgusted by you, you've let this slide. Now she just cheats on you. You've let her openly text other guys in front of you. She's openly flirted with other guys in front of you as well. Then she humiliates you and made fun of you and disrespected you in public. And then she's also made you buy her things after this disrespect that you've left unchecked. Now she's going to cheat on you because she's just like, oh, this guy's like disgusting. So if he doesn't even value himself, why would I value him? Now I'm going to cheat on him. And then if you decide to take her back after this, this is what's going to happen. Okay, because now she's really disgusted by you, and she knows you're a slimy, lower than a weasel, a little rat in the grass type of guy. If she decides to take you back, this is extremely dangerous. This is very dangerous. And as someone that's watched a lot of Dateline or Forensic Files or just crime TV shows in general, this is where we see these stories that come up where the woman just loses her mind, and we'll talk about it. This is where we hear about the forensic file theme hits women place on their husband or their boyfriend. She's so disgusted by this guy that she wants to eliminate him from existence. She's lost all respect for him, even as a human being worthy of life. That's how disgusted she is by a weak ass dude. She thinks you lower than living. And this is because women are actually a lot like nature. Nature, if we think about it, you think about it right now, it cleanses the earth through fires and other natural disasters to make room for a better planet. Likewise, women will cleanse the male gender, the male population, through tests and occasional arsenic poisonings to make room for a better gene pool. Sorry guys, but if she's disgusted by you, nature's disgusted by you, and it doesn't think you should breed anymore. That's what that's communicating. The same way nature itself will start a fire and cleanse the tree population in the forest to make room for the new, stronger seedlings that are more fire resistant to sprout forth from the soil and replenish the earth again. It's the same way women eliminate, get rid of a weak ass dude. It's no different. Why do you think we've coined nature as feminine? Think about it. Besides its beauty, it destroys present stagnation for future growth. Weak ass men are stagnating in life, and nature abhors a vacuum. It needs to create room for growth and get rid of the weak ass men. So this is a harsh reality check, and I don't want you to let any other woman, after watching this video, turn you into her little puppy lapdog, her little. It ends after watching this video. If you've been a guy like me that's dealt with this over and over again in relationships because you yourself, maybe you grew up with a single mother and you weren't shown what true real masculinity looks like and leadership looks like, so you've had women toy with you and manipulate you. I don't want this to happen to another guy that watches this video and that watches my channel. This is why I'm so passionate about it. So please, for the life of me, grab your nuts and make her submit to your direction. No excuses. If she doesn't submit, you don't commit. Grab your nuts like this squirrel did, and while you're at it, drop a like on the video, hit that share button so more guys get this information, and tap subscribe before I break this camera. But click subscribe, tap the like button. We need this video to get out to more guys. I love you all. Grab your nuts, be a man, step out there, and demand respect and carry yourself in true, authentic masculinity. And don't be ashamed and bend and fold to society and what they're trying to make you become, which is a spineless little weasel doormat man. You're better than that. We're not here for very long, so live your life to its fullest.